Whiskey and Nerds Podcast.
Whiskey and Nerd Podcast. Going over the Batman. Drinking toasted Nulu. You lied to me, Alfred. What was your take on Robert Pattinson? That took no time at all.
Starting off the podcast with our very first ad.
Right, yeah.
Of the evening, afternoon.
Bink.
So we just watched it for the first time earlier today, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. We talked about it. We went to lunch right after the movie and just broke down from beginning to end, key scenes, action scenes, serious scenes, dark scenes, light scenes. And I've only got like 2 qualms with the entire movie.
Okay. I'm in a very similar boat. I saw it Thursday night.
Okay.
I spent the last couple of days kind of going through it over in my head, trying to pick out things that I didn't like. And if I didn't like it, why didn't I like it?
Yeah.
And if I had a reason, then it no longer made that list of why I didn't like it. Like, no, it makes sense. I might not have been a huge fan of this, but it plays for what the movie is.
I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. There's spoilers coming.
Oh, we're going to spoil
So if you haven't seen the Batman yet,
out of everything,
go see the Batman. Come back and watch this. Watch, listen to, however you enjoy this podcast.
Piper, thoughts?
I liked it a lot. Maybe getting a little. Whoop.
You're probably close enough.
I would say, if you're like, I'm way too close, this is going to be so loud.
Yeah. This is too close.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this mic's also. This is the bad mic.
Yeah. We can edit it in post.
True. Anyway, I personally liked it a lot. I thought very, like, cinematography wise was like whiskey.
Yeah, yummy.
Nulu Toasted.
Yeah.
Toasted Rye.
But
so good.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet.
You haven't drank it yet?
Oh, okay, hang on.
Take a sniff.
Ooh. Ooh.
Uh-huh.
There's 2 different flavors. It hit you once, and then it hits you again.
Uh-huh.
Did you not hear the 2?
Yeah.
Ooh.
It goes away, and it comes
right
back.
But I think cinematography wise, it was fantastic.
So, the people I saw it with literally said the words, I thought this one was going to be gritty. This one wasn't gritty enough.
What?
At which I was dumbfounded and said, what the fuck are you expecting? This movie couldn't have been any grittier.
So what movie did you just watch?
Yeah, did
Like,
you have
this
your eyes
movie-
closed the whole time?
He fell asleep several times, yes. That's no lie.
How?
This movie, the way it was shot, the tone of the cinematography and everything, makes the Christopher Nolan verse almost as bright as the Schumacher group.
Okay, I was thinking that. I'm like, man, I was like, even like looking
Yeah.
at like, you can literally see like the vignette they put like around the edge of like almost every shot. Like it literally goes to dark, or the perspective that they have on almost every shot on how the person that's in focus is in focus and the immediate background right behind them is blurry.
Yeah.
Like they have
They play a lot with focus and shadows.
Yeah.
A lot.
Every time they had stuff that was blurry, I was like, this is neat.
Yeah.
I was like,
well, in the entire movie, all the way throughout, basically every scene is its own like art show.
Yes.
Whether it be an action scene or them just like walking down the street, the way it's all depicted, the background, everything is an art show.
Like it really did kind of play out like a happy combination between the realism of a Christopher Nolan verse met with the gritty super noir aspect of the 89 Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that one was super noir. Batman Returns, that also had Penguin and Catwoman, was not. You're getting campier and more colorful and a little, but the grittiness of the 89 one with Jack Nicholson that one, if you combine that with like the Dark Knight specific, well, no, I'd say Batman Begins specifically, because that one was a little bit darker and grittier. Dark Knight became a little bit more of a popcorn film, a little bit brighter.
Yeah.
And then Dark Knight Rises was just like, fuck it, I gotta be done with this.
End this trilogy.
So it was the tone, both cinematography speaking and thematically throughout the entire movie, was very noir, very one tone action sequence, one tone action sequence, one tone action sequence, third act.
Yeah.
Craziness.
Third act of chaos.
It really was. Now, it is a 3-hour movie.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a noir, one-tone movie, you feel every bit of that 3 hours.
It felt like a long movie.
It really, really did.
It felt long, but at the same time, I wasn't bored at any moment.
No, I wasn't bored, but I also felt like it could have ended like 4 different times.
You definitely felt like the, spoiler alert, Carmine Falcone death.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay. We're about to end the movie. And then you had like another hour of everything else to tie up the Riddler.
Yeah.
Like, wait, son of a bitch, this is still going.
Yeah.
So.
But like, I'm glad they didn't end it there. I'm glad
you
it
couldn't
kept
have.
going.
Yeah, you couldn't have,
Yeah.
because you still had the Riddler to deal with. Like, you couldn't have done that. I feel like to improve on the movie, before we actually even dive into it, to improve the movie, you find about 30 random minutes to cut.
Yeah. I'll agree with that because like you said, because it's noir, it does feel. I've in the theater, I was like, this is a long movie.
Yeah.
Like you feel like Endgame doesn't feel like that long of a movie because you get fun, hour-long fight scene and it's over.
And it's nothing but fan service and popcorn. And when the energy's up here at all times, you're like, it's like the longest roller coaster ever, and it's the best. When it's not, and you're just on the mini mine train, and you have that every so often, and then it shoots you and you fly off of the roller coaster for 3 hours. That's a different thing.
Yeah,
that's fair.
So, if you could, because of the tone, if you could take about, give or take 30 minutes off of it somewhere. Now, the struggle I had is
where?
What are you going to cut?
I don't think you can.
That was the problem. Did either of you ever watch the movie Amadeus?
A long time ago.
Long time ago. So in the movie, at the very end of it, the guy that was his biggest critic and just bitching about everything he does, he's so eccentric, you don't need all this extra garbage. He gets his sheet music and goes to rewrite it and finish it. He's like, oh, every single note in this music is perfect. If you take out one little thing, it doesn't flow the way it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. That's how this movie went.
Yeah.
Every little scene
was purposeful.
Had a reason and had to be done in that something similar to that way in any capacity.
It had to. Well, and I was telling him, I was like, there were certain moments where with the camera work and the tension and everything, and it was building, they would sit on scenes a little too long, but that was the point. Mm-hmm. Because they had to
build like anxiety and build tension and
build build the stress of everything going on around it.
And I mean, if you cut parts of those scenes, you're cutting seconds out to where like a cumulative, you might cut like 8 minutes. It's not worth it to cut that 8 minutes at that point.
Purposeful. They help build the tension. They help build the anxiety.
Yeah.
You can't, because if you cut them out, then it's just like every other action movie.
Then you're just jumping from scene to scene, and it doesn't carry any weight.
Yeah.
They pulled, for someone like me, that how close can you get to the source material with the comics? And with Batman, there's
a lot of source material.
100 years worth of comics. They pulled really a lot from Long Halloween, Earth 1, and Year 1. Okay. There was references to other things like Hush. There was literally a spot where the Riddler's going through.
Yeah, we were looking at that.
And the Thomas Elliot, the reporter that got killed, was actually Bruce's best friend in Hush.
Oh.
And the story where Thomas Wayne helps Carmine Falcone, that's like straight verbatim out of Long Halloween. So he took a whole bunch of pieces and didn't alter any of them, and Frankenstein stitched it together and
Made a movie.
A movie that was based around, he's like, if I took Chinatown and I took Seven and I made a Batman movie out of it and used these like 4 comics, what would it be? And it would be
That movie.
exactly what you got. He didn't really adjust anything. Everything played to character in different ways.
And that's kind of a genius way to make the movie too, because you stay accurate to the comics.
Another ad.
Oh, this is gonna super get us pulled.
But then also you have a good storyline to flow through and follow versus just, I'm going to remake Batman again.
Yeah, something we have quite a few of, and we will actually rank them individually later.
Yeah.
And it's not super spaced out. He had a little bit of time after the Christopher Nolan verse. Ben Affleck jumped in. That got really complicated because of studio issues. Again, the Batman was supposed to be Ben Affleck's movie.
Really?
Was it really? I didn't know that.
And pre-production, when they were in discussion, it was, we are giving Ben Affleck his own Batman movie that he was going to write and direct.
Oh.
As you well know, Ben Affleck is a pretty damn good writer and director.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Town, Fargo.
Have you seen the
We
last
just watched
Duel?
The Last Duel.
It's on HBO Max. I have not watched it
Yeah.
yet.
Watch
it.
So
Okay.
that was his. And then, like they always do, Warner Brothers got involved.
Warner Brothers gonna Warner Brothers.
Yeah. And the movie, the main villain was going to be Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke, which is why you saw him at the end of the Justice League, because that was going to be the immediate tie-in. And you're going to have that issue. The Batman was going to be almost like a prequel to Justice League of telling that story.
Yeah.
And with Deathstroke being the main villain, which as being one of my favorite comic characters, I was super excited about. And then it went back and forth, and
Just completely fell apart.
well, along with the fact that Ben Affleck's alcohol issues and different things he was going through at the time was highly publicized. He was like, "You guys are making this hard. You either do this my way, or I don't really want to keep doing this at all anyway. I kind of did my few films, and
yeah.
I'm good."
I was Batman twice. I'm good.
Yeah. And then Matt Reeves came in, and he's like, they're like, "Well, here's the script that he submitted." He's like, "Nah. How about this?" And did his own. And they're like, "Well, what if you change stuff?" "Fuck off." "Okay, that's fine." So, and then you
I'm about
got
to say, is that the way to get a good movie? Tell Warner Brothers to fuck off?
Apparently. Because that's what happened.
Christopher Nolan. It worked for him. He's like, "This is how I'm going to do everything." And they're like, "You got it." And then they went to Christopher Nolan. Hey, they wanted Christopher Nolan to be the Kevin Feige of the
DC verse.
Yeah, because he was a executive producer on Man of Steel.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the end of it. He's like, "I'll help you guys out and kind of point you in a direction."
But I'm done.
And then I'm supered out.
Yeah.
I want to go do other things that manipulate time and make no sense. Insert Interstellar and Tenet here. But so you have this, and you can tell it is Matt Reeves' project. It is very director driven. This doesn't feel like a blockbuster popcorn Hollywood action movie at all.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It feels like
It's its own thing.
made
It's a nitty
Seven
gritty dark Batman movie.
a Batman movie.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't play like a pop film, and all the tones in it, a lot of murder, a lot of organized crime, drugs.
Yeah.
None of these are your bubblegum Batman.
Bring the whole family out and let's watch a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's still PG-13 and all that,
Yeah.
but
I
don't
feel like it
know.
also could have been a little bit better if it was R-rated because of how dark and gritty it was.
Okay, so I'm glad you said that. What are you gonna do to make it R-rated other than throw in a couple F-bombs? Add blood?
I was like, more blood?
Add blood. So and we'll get into this a little bit deeper, but the violence and action scenes I loved.
I did too.
I feel like they could have been a little darker. Or I feel like it would have been cooler, better, more exciting if it was a little darker.
The only thing that make it a little bit darker is portraying a little bit more violence, and maybe not violence to the think Daredevil Punisher.
Yeah.
On Netflix.
Yeah.
That's about as far as you can push that.
Yeah.
Without getting just gross.
Yeah.
And gore porn and not fun.
Yeah.
And you definitely can't put that and market it for kids for sure.
Yeah. I don't think you can ever release an R-rated Batman movie.
No.
Like, it doesn't make sense to a studio to do because you're going to
Yeah,
drop
why would
your
it-
money.
Yeah, why would we get rid of 2/3
Of your
Audience.
of our
Yes.
audience?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Ever. So let's break down.
You want to go front of the movie all the way through, or
No, I want to pick it apart in different pieces.
okay?
Characters, actors.
Okay.
Battinson as Bruce Wayne and as Batman, because those are two different characters.
Okay.
And we had discussed
Do we want to go person by person?
Sure.
And just do round table?
What do you got?
Okay. So as Batman, I liked him a lot as Batman. As Bruce Wayne, I did not care for him that much.
Okay.
However, and we broke this down. So as Batman, I really liked him. I thought the suit was cool. I thought it was cool that you could tell he's still young Batman. It said he's only been doing it for 2 years. So it's not like Christian Bale Batman where he's in his late 30s.
Yeah.
It's like Batman where he's like 25. So
They played it out. It was 20 years. They said 20 years ago your parents died, and in the comics, if they stick to that much, he was 10.
yeah,
So
so
he
make
would've
like
been
30.
30.
Yeah.
Exactly 30. Whereas it varies a little bit, but most of the comics have him starting out as Batman as like 26, 27.
Yeah.
So it's right in that range.
Yeah. So somewhere in 28 to 30. So you could tell that he didn't have like he had some gadgets, but he didn't have a lot of his tech besides a little eye contact lens thing,
Sweet.
which was cool. As Batman, I really liked him. He's up there as one of my favorite Batmen.
Batman's.
He's the action, the violence, the fight scenes were all awesome. I didn't care for him that much as Bruce Wayne because there's a lot of ads. Because he, at first I didn't like him at all. Like I hated him as Bruce Wayne because I'm like, you're just a whiny little kid. That's all I got from him was he was just super whiny and go, Alfred, you lied to me. I want to do good, but I can't do good. But at the same time, when we broke it down, we're like, in the end of the movie, he's like, it turns out I am doing something. It's not the thing I thought I was doing, but it's, better. It's like, so the entire movie, he's been doing this for 2 years. He doesn't sleep. It's all he does is goes out there. So whenever he gets home, he's exhausted. He's pissed off. I'm like, okay, he played it actually very accurately in that case.
Yeah, because
Close.
when we were talking about it, because he was like, man, when he was Batman, he was just like, basically, you didn't say it, but I know you're thinking it, like the Kylo Ren of
Yeah.
Batman, right?
Yeah.
But when
Just very
when,
whiny.
but when we had talked about it, I'm like, but listen, he had said he's been doing this for 2 years. All the nights blur together. He's like, he seems like we only saw him like Batman, like 90% of the movie. We only saw him as Bruce Wayne for like a little bit. I'm like, that's probably because he probably is Batman like 97% of the time, and it's not until he, like, because at the beginning he's like, am I even making a difference? So he's like, I have to be Batman so that I can make a difference.
I love the journaling.
Yeah.
That's straight
Yeah.
out of
That was cool,
year
yeah.
one. And even saying why he's journaling. Like, he even says, everything, I do this night after night. Everything's
I make myself watch it again.
Yeah, everything's running together. I can't tell anything apart, so I'm writing this out.
So he's exhausted, right? So as Bruce Wayne, he hasn't really been able to do anything. When he was talking to the new mayor, she's like, you could do something, But she was talking to Bruce Wayne,
Yeah.
And I'm like, so at this point, Bruce Wayne hasn't been doing anything because he, as Bruce Wayne, has not been seen because he's been Batman like this whole time, right? So maybe as a Bruce Wayne philanthropist, playboy, whatever. We won't see that in this one because he's finally
He
realizing
hasn't become that person yet.
Exactly.
He hasn't lived up the playboy lifestyle.
So
he is a billionaire.
Because now that he feels like he can actually make a difference, he'll actually be like, okay, as Bruce Wayne, I can make a difference on this end, and as Batman, I can just make a difference on this end. So when we get a next movie, we might actually see more of that.
So, a couple different things. The problem is, and they actually kind of touched on it, I think it was just one little bit of dialogue from Andy Serkis as Alfred, which we'll get to next, where he talked about your life as Bruce Wayne is just as important as your life as Batman.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact quote, but that's what he referenced.
Something like that.
My problem, because I agree with everything you guys just said, his Batman was actually very good. His working of the voice, which thanks to Christian Bale is a topic and a point of concern, was actually really, really good. He had a normal, like the most mildly raspy or different voice most of the time. He talked normal when he was talking to Selena a lot, played by Zoe Kravitz, which we will also get to. And even when he went into growls, like he only went full Christian Bale when he was screaming at the Riddler in the jail cell. Really. That works. That makes sense, and you could understand what he was saying. My problem was Bruce Wayne. One, motherfucker, you're 30. You're not a 15-year-old kid wearing trip pants in your room listening to My Chemical Romance. Fucking quit.
Get your hair out of your face.
Get your hair out of your face. Also, you're a billionaire. Buy a shirt that fits. Fucking 6 sizes too large black t-shirt. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, we were talking about the size thing because they try to make him look really big from one shot from behind, and his back's all like bowed out, and then he puts on a black t-shirt and there's like a little twig hanging out the sleeve. I'm like, well, there goes your Batman.
And then the one scene where you get to see his big old ripped body, except when the camera leveled out, that dude was smaller than I am, and I am extremely lean.
160, 165 Batman.
I'm soaking wet.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you might have done a couple push-ups before this scene, but you aren't offering a whole lot here.
I'm going to offer another viewpoint on this. Again, he's only 2 years in.
Nope.
Hang on.
Nope. Get out of here with that. Batman is supposed to be big.
Hang on. Let me get there. All of his days are running together. You can tell he's starting to doubt himself. What happens when you start doubting yourself? You kind of get into a depression a little bit. You stop eating. You stop taking care of yourself. Maybe he's just like, I don't know. Maybe he's going through a thing.
Nope. Because if your number one goal is being Batman, you focus all of your abilities, your attention, and your effort to what makes you a better Batman. That's why all the Batmans have different scenes of him working out. That's why all the Batmans have him...
It's working out is beating up bad guys.
But he's doing all these things because he has to be, like, even in the comics, he's constantly working out. He has his sleep down to about 3 to 4 hours a night because of how he operates. And and he can have peak performance at minimum things. Like, whole point of Batman is he is this guy.
Yeah.
Whereas Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne was not. So the argument here is the other movie that was very aggressively based on year one was Batman Begins. You see Christian Bale go and do his training, come back as Batman.
He's just massive.
Learning all that.
Yeah.
But also he understands, and as Michael Caine said a million times, it's not just you being Batman, you have to be Bruce Wayne. He went out as Bruce Wayne. He did that thing.
Yeah.
Now, they played that a little slower on this one, as you guys both talked about, of he's not there yet, and he's realizing there's more that he can do. And if there's a next one, which, given the reviews on this one, they're open doors.
Unless Warner Brothers going to Warner Brothers. That's what I said. I was saying this during the next Batman. We're going to get another Batman. And while we're about to watch that Batman, before it starts, we're going to get a trailer for the next Batman with a different person.
Yep. Yeah, because, you know what? History repeats itself, and Warner Brothers is going to Warner Brothers. However, so I understood the take of his Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
I do not accept his take as Bruce Wayne.
And that's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah. because again, I went through this movie in my head over and over and over again. I watched a bunch of breakdown clips, his, understanding, Easter eggs, all that, blah, 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 blah. And of things that I pick out that I just did not like come to the end of the movie, I had like 3 things, and that was chief among them of really liked what he did with Batman. And you can be a brooding Bruce Wayne, you cannot be a 15-year-old emo boy.
Yeah.
And he leaned heavily into 15-year-old emo boy instead of a brooding, depressed Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Those are 2 different things.
Yeah.
And, I mean, cut his wrist and black his eyes. His heart is in Ohio. Because that's what you got. I mean, he was 1 minute away from going full Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Another ad.
At least they're consistent.
Yeah, every 4 seconds.
It probably comes after every song.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
So, time. Bink, 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 bink. Plenty of time to read all that. Cool. Alfred Pennyworth, played by Andy Serkis. You've had, in our
Three?
lifetime, 4 different Alfreds.
4, yeah.
I can't remember the one from the 90s,
No.
but he was perfect. Michael something. And then you had Michael Caine.
Yep.
And then you had Scar
Yep.
for Ben Affleck. And now you have Andy Serkis.
So, I liked Andy Serkis. One of my big, not necessarily flaw, but the thing that I thought could have really improved a scene involved him. So the one scene that if I go back and remake this movie and only change one thing, the one scene I would change involves Andy Serkis.
Hospital scene?
No.
Really? Because I would definitely manipulate that scene.
Yeah? No.
In fact, I would actually pull that scene all together, and instead of him sitting there, you lied to me, Alfred. Again, emo as fuck. He can still be like half blown up or whatever the case, but you can have that conversation in a different capacity where it's not him turning around and smiling, and then you lied to me, Alfred, and then you have that conversation, and you're just like, the fucking redirect here is awful. What is happening?
So the scene I'm talking about is when he gets the bomb, and he's like, it's like fireproof, and he turns it over and it's beeping, and it shows Batman driving his Batmobile, and he is just furiously cutting it in and out of traffic. You could see like the emotion on his face, and you could see him like, trying to call, and it's just Alfred. Phone's ringing in the background, following him, phone's ringing in the background. And you see even, Wayne Tower, and so you can see the building, or you see like the logo for the building. I feel like it would have been a 10 times more powerful scene. It would have made it one of the most powerful scenes of the movie if you saw the explosion. Because he just comes around the corner and it's just on fire, and it happened an hour ago. Because the old lady picks up the phone. He's like, something horrible is about to happen.
If you saw the explosion from Batman's point of view?
Yes. He's driving the car because you see all the emotion on his face. And you see how emotional he is. And then all of a sudden you see just Wayne Tower and it's just... I feel like that would have been 10 times more powerful scene than he comes around the corner and it's already on fire and it already happened an hour ago.
Here's an idea. It would change the dynamic of the scene altogether. What if Alfred answered the phone and it went off? But that would have been very Dark Knight-esque.
Yeah.
With Maggie Gyllenhaal going, I know.
Yeah. No, I wanted him because you could see the emotions. It's like one of the better acting moments of the movie is when you can see how just like stressed and panicked he is trying to get home, trying to get to Alfred, calling Alfred. You can see the panic on his face, and he plays it very well. But I feel like if you would see that and then just see all of it drain from his face when you see, it would have made that scene so much more powerful.
And then you can still cut to
You
the
can
cops.
still, yeah, you can still
running
cut to the
through
cops,
and
and
playing
then you can
all
still
that.
have your hospital scene. Like the rest of the movie plays out correctly.
They're the same,
You just,
yeah.
to me, it's fixing that scene.
Meh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I really liked Andy Serkis. I still think God, I wish I could remember his name. He's in Die Hard 3. Jeremy Irons.
Yeah.
Because he talks like this and everything he's in. I love Jeremy Irons so much. And I liked him as Alfred in Justice League and Batman vs. Superman. So I think in order, it would actually be Jeremy Irons, then Andy Serkis, because I also love Andy Serkis and everything he does, and then Michael Caine,
Yeah.
and then Michael Gough, which I just remembered his last name as well. So they kind of played it similar to the Gotham series, where it was a quick line of, I could teach you how to fight, but I can't teach you how to do
I
all this.
couldn't raise you.
I
Yeah.
couldn't be your dad.
Yeah. Whereas Gotham was the same situation. He's like, teach me how to fight, Alfred.
Yeah.
So there's different routes of Pennyworth. He was either Michael Gough, who was just the dependable butler. Michael Caine, who referenced having quite the history, but
Yeah.
was still just the dependable butler.
Yeah.
They didn't really touch on any of that with Jeremy Irons, and you didn't have enough time to
No,
fish
he was a
that
very
out
small part of the movie.
anyway. So you have just the butler in a lot of capacities, and then you have some where he was actually like special forces in the British military.
Yeah.
And
Well, there was even the show that came out called Pennyworth,
where-
and it was that storyline.
where it shows who he was, and they kind of referenced it in the movie where he's like, I was the one to protect. He was more of a bodyguard slash a Wayne Manor estate runner versus
Just a butler.
than just the butler. And I think that's what they kind of lean towards with his character. And you see he's got scars on his face, and he's a little bit more rugged.
Yeah.
He's got a super modern haircut.
Battle tested.
He's more of a, for other people to see, he's a quote unquote butler.
Yes.
But
He was
And
also
then-
one of
Someone
the younger Alfreds we've seen.
Yes.
Whereas
And
everyone else is
Yeah.
like 80 or 90 years old.
he, you saw the value of and brilliance of Alfred as he's like, hey, I jumped in on that cipher stuff. Here's what you're looking at. Here's what
Yeah.
they're doing. What do you see? What's going on? So him, I was a big fan of. Selena Kyle as Zoe Kravitz. I had really high hopes for.
wait, question.
Yes.
Her last name is Kravitz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she Lenny Kravitz?
Yeah.
That's
Daughter.
his daughter. That's his daughter with
Can't help you with this one.
I'm holding my mic so I can't look it up because I don't have a third hand.
I can't remember her name. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Jason Momoa's wife.
No way.
Still can't help you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Zoe Kravitz is Jason Momoa's stepdaughter.
Huh.
And Lenny Kravitz's daughter.
Had no idea.
Jason
who she
Momoa
was.
is not Lenny Kravitz's daughter.
No.
Zoe Kravitz is. But yeah, that's the whole thing there.
Interesting.
I
I liked her.
liked her a lot. I would say that she is the best Catwoman so far.
I agree.
Yes.
I
I said that earlier. She's the best Catwoman so far. I still didn't care.
kind of wanted more from her.
Yeah.
And you didn't really
She
get
was
it.
such a just. She was almost like a background character. She kind of came out. She helped him get
she
through the
had
club.
more screen time than the other characters. So, because when you look at it, you had Robert Pattinson in almost every single scene, which
Yes.
is a lot to carry any movie, even as the main character. And then you had 15 to 20 minutes of Penguin,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 20 to 30 if you're pushing it of actual screen time for the Riddler.
Yeah.
And then Falcone has maybe
5, 10.
Maybe
yeah,
5
maybe
minutes,
10. The only one that comes in close second is Jeffrey Wright's Commissioner Gordon, which I was
Yeah.
going to go to next.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone else is spread out, and you're running it real long with them. I guess I wanted... There was no pull for her like I wanted it to.
Yeah.
But then again, to that point, maybe that's just the script and the
It's
director.
not her fault.
possible. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
I
her
don't,
fault.
I don't think I think she was a great Selena
Yeah.
Kyle.
Yeah, I don't
She's
think
a
she
great
did a bad
Catwoman.
job. It's just
I think
I feel like they
the
could have
story
utilized her more.
with her. I think that's just what it was, and there's
'Cause-
nothing else she could have done to.
in between the
better.
second and third act, you kind of lose her for like 45 minutes, and she's just gone.
Yeah.
Well, she's hunting down Keener or
Yeah, she's
Carmine?
the police
Carmine.
officer.
No, was it?
Oh
Carmine?
no, the one that killed her.
Her friend.
Her friend, yeah.
That's she was hunting him down. So
Yeah.
that's probably why she was gone.
Yeah,
And again, I love it when good writers know how to do just a little bit of dialogue to move the story along. Of I'm gonna hunt this guy down. Are you gonna help me? Don't make a move without me. And she's gone. Now you know what she's doing.
yeah,
She doesn't just disappear and come back.
yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
One
Anyway,
line.
she's not. She's coming back at some point. It's just don't know when.
And the duo.
And then she made a move without him.
Yeah. And then the duo fight scene in the third act with them together, her going to help him, was awesome. The way they did her fight scenes versus the more campier Michelle Pfeiffer, and then Anne Hathaway.
Meh.
Yeah,
Meh.
yeah.
Get out of here. Yeah, I was a big fan of her. I guess I'm such a big fan of the Catwoman Batman love affair. Same kind of person, but they can never actually be together because even though they almost got married, he was willing to give up being Batman for her. She bailed on the whole thing. She's like, you're willing to do this, and it's the worst decision you're ever going to make. I'm out.
Yeah.
Like the Bat and the Cat storyline, if I can get my hands on the actual like group novel on it, it's so good. But that's got to be its own movie. You have so many moving parts.
Yeah.
In this, you have 4 villains between Catwoman, Penguin, Riddler, Falcone.
Yeah.
And then you have, and we'll go into the next one, Jeffrey Wright as Gordon.
So I'm gonna do Jeffrey Wright as Gordon, along with the rest of the cops in the show because I have high feelings on some of these police officers. One, I just want to throw this out there. Martinez was a hell of a police officer. He was on every crime scene watch.
He was that
He was there overnight and late night, making sure no one broke in.
He was the first
he failed
one to show
horribly
up.
at it because they all got broken into.
Yeah.
He helped him find the final clue to hey, it's under the carpet. There's a carpet tool. He wasn't afraid of standing up to Batman. He's a hell of a police officer. I'm just gonna throw that out
He
there.
showed up early. He
Left late, cleaned up.
He hasn't seen his kids in probably since their second birthday. Both of his marriages have failed, but he is committed to the force.
He is. So
Good
kudos to you,
on him.
Martinez.
Back to blue.
Commissioner Gordon, liked him. There's a couple times I felt like he was a little overacting.
That's just Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
See,
He
Patrick
was
said the same
Yeah.
thing.
He was trying to do a Batman voice. I was like, babe, that's just his voice. I was like,
No, that's
he
Jeffrey
had
Wright's
the
voice.
same exact voice in the Hunger Games.
Also, and Westworld.
Oh,
That too.
Okay, 2 things. 3 things. 4 things. So, how do I want to organize this? Jeffrey Wright having Batman voice. On HBO Max, he actually did the voice for Batman on Batman Storytelling. It's a small show on HBO Max. I haven't watched it yet, but it's basically him as Batman narrating a story of stuff he did. Jeffrey Wright talking. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Wright talking about Batman stuff. Yay! 2. They had the show Gotham on Fox, right?
right.
Cool. Yeah. Had a couple good seasons. I don't know. I didn't watch it all. I heard it was good enough, though.
I didn't finish it. I watched the first 4 or so.
Yeah, we watched like the first 4 or 5 seasons and then fell off. And then we started up again and then never finished it.
Yeah.
Which there was only like 6 seasons, weren't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I watched most of the first season. I was like, good God, this is rough. And
First season's rough. It
And then
gets
everyone's
better.
like, the second season's good. The third season's okay. The fourth season, you get Jerome as Joker.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant.
Yes.
And then no one really cares what happens after that. And then Marina Baccarin shows up, and I'm just in on that too. Anyway, HBO Max has in development and has for a while a GCPD show, Gotham City Police show, where they're going after the supervillains. It is said that Jeffrey Wright will star in that, and it will be a direct
Ooh.
continuation of this.
Huh.
So,
Alright.
and there's rumor of Zoe Kravitz getting her own Catwoman series in that capacity. And the person we'll go to next, Colin Farrell as the Penguin, getting his own in that capacity. So, you have that, which would be super awesome. Jeffrey Wright has a lot of history with HBO. He was on Westworld. I'm sure you haven't yet because you just listened to or just saw the movie today. The Batman theme song, that when the movie starts and they're playing it when he shows up, you're like, fuck. For all the great Batman scores, this one is hitting. I really like this. And then you get to the end of the movie and you realize they really liked it too. They played that fucking theme song the entire 3 hours.
Hey man,
it was
but
either
it worked because it was.
It was either that, or Ave Maria,
Well, I think that was a Riddler thing.
or on mostly wide shots or landscape shots, the Nirvana song, which they played, I think, 2, maybe 3 times. They played the theme song so many times.
Yeah. I liked it.
So did I.
Like,
No.
it is overusing the song, but like
But I mean,
you said, it hit.
It played, and you're talking to somebody who actively listens to all of the other music scores from the Batman.
Yeah.
From Tim Burton, Joel Schumacher, especially Hans Zimmer as in the Dark Knight series, which is currently playing
that's a
right
good
now.
score, yeah.
Oh god, all 3 of those albums are amazing. I'm listening to this, and when you hear it on the trailer, you're like, man, that thing's got a hit to it. And then, especially at the very beginning, when you first see him going up against the Jokers,
Yeah.
which is a mild nod to Batman Beyond, where there's a gang of Jokers.
Yeah.
And a bit of a nod to Batman Forever, where there's a gang of Jokers. And it plays, you're like, cool, this is awesome. And then every time
Tim Batman comes on
Robert
screen.
Pattinson takes a breath, they have to start the song again.
hey man, I didn't care. It worked.
I was so over it. By the end of it, I was like, pick another goddamn song. Anything else. Now, I couldn't get the song out of my head because they played it for 3 straight hours. I was like, why does it sound so goddamn familiar?
You know what song it sounds like to me? It's like the Death March. It's like they made it in like that same like key.
So that's actually that's what Eric said. He's like, it has a very Darth Vader theme to it.
Well, not Darth Vader, like the actual like.
Bing bong.
Pause. Oh, the theme song. We're back.
Theme song.
Yeah. Action.
Theme song. You know what it sounds exactly like? And I've played this for a couple people.
Okay.
Did you guys watch Westworld?
No.
No.
Okay. The Westworld theme song plays almost exactly like the Batman theme song.
Oh, that is good.
The Redwood?
Yeah.
The Beastly?
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of different kind of redwoods, and there's
They're
multiple.
not all good.
And multiple have red labels on it. Mm-hmm. That one is the Beastly straight bourbon. I believe it's bottled to bond, so 50.
Yeah.
But really solid.
Yeah,
they have a.
It's got an interesting, like, there's something in there. I don't know if it's like a Twizzlers.
The heavy cherry candy flavor.
Yeah, candy cherries. Tastes like it's like the very middle of it. Actually, like pure Twizzler.
Yeah, it's super good.
It's very good.
I remember what I was saying now.
Death March.
Like the one you actually hear at funerals. Do I have to like find it on my phone and play it?
Maybe.
Based by our reaction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We did not know it offhand.
What?
Which I don't know if we're going to actually play that and have it on YouTube. People get pulled for those kinds of things.
I'm just looking.
Just
it up
sing it.
From. It's the funeral march. Like it's actually. God, freaking ads everywhere.
Yeah, capitalism.
They're like, pay for YouTube, whatever, without the ads. Why? It's been free this entire time. Why you gotta?
Yeah. Everyone's got to
Don't
make
you
money.
get enough money from the ads that you play? every 5 seconds.
Capitalize monetarily.
We want more.
Yep.
Just like the bad guys in Batman. They just wanted more money. And you can't skip them.
Which I really enjoyed that aspect of the Thomas Wayne going for mayor, creating this fund to help the orphans. Ultimately, him running for mayor had Thomas Elliott going after him, which, again, as mentioned in this case, is a reporter instead of a family friend. And then he leans on Carmine. Hey, can you go intimidate this guy to leave me alone because he's coming after me and coming after my crazy ass wife?
Yeah.
All Marthas are batshit. And then Carmine's like, if I just kill this dude, then I have something on Wayne.
Yeah.
And then when Wayne goes to...
Or says he's going to go to the police.
Says he's going to go to police anyway. All of a sudden he ends up dead a week later.
Yeah.
And there's no confirmation that Carmine did it, but it looks like it. And then they just run the whole fucking city stemming from the money, the $1 billion that he put in to help that, which then in turn creates the Riddler.
Yeah.
Because he figures this out, being a forensic scientist for that group, and he grew up in that orphanage. So you have... The Riddler was very, very similar to Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yes.
Not in character, but in...
Like story arc.
Maniacal killings. Creepy puzzles you have to solve to get to where you need to go. A lot of cameras and cut videos. And crap like that. Like, the formats were really good. The difference was the Joker had no backstory, and you just accept him as was, which played to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas this one has a backstory, yet you still accept that he's completely crazy, and all of that adds up really well.
Yeah.
I was a huge fan of just how they wrote him to be this Zodiac killer, which was one of the biggest inspirations for his look.
Yeah.
Mixed with Kevin Spacey from Seven and all these different things. How did you feel about Paul Dano as the Riddler?
I liked him. I liked what you said, like the killings, the setting it up. I think my favorite part about him was when he was in he was in Arkham and Batman was there. He goes, "We did it. We got them all. We killed every one of them."
Like, he believed they
were working together
because Batman inspired him.
Yeah, he's like, "I told you to bring him out in the light, and you did, and I killed him. We did it." And I was like, "What a crazy, fucked up twist!"
Which, it was so good because it makes everything that you saw up to that point of, oh, he's calling out the Batman. He knows that Batman is Bruce Wayne. Like, he's going after him.
Because he kept saying, like, Bruce Wayne, which made him, he wasn't looking at him, but all of a sudden he was like, and then he said something about...
And he said, and we got him.
And we got him. And he was like, and we did it together. You know, we got them. And he was, then, like, he had, like, that switch of, he doesn't know I'm Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, you see it where he goes in thinking that's the case, and then they have that conversation, and the letters to the Batman aren't a call out, they aren't an attack,
they
like
aren't
instructions. A threat. They were, all right, man,
this is what we're doing
they
next.
trust you, you do this, because you can tell that, and I think there was even dialogue to it, but I can't remember. Batman was the inspiration for Riddler to go about his vigilante justice as he sees it, to right this wrong with the corruption, because that's what you see. It lies and corruption, and Carmine Falcone being the rat, and all of these things.
Rat with wings.
The rat with wings. Which was everyone else thinking bat at the time?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought from the beginning they were
like,
and then he said
it's
L. I was
it's a
like,
pigeon.
Batman.
What the? No, it's you, dumbass.
But they're in Gotham, which is based on New York.
Roughly, yeah.
So
because there's like a scene where it showed kind of like a rough Times Square looking.
Pigeons, rats with wings. That's just a thing.
But still, like
a stool pigeon, but falcons have wings. Bitch, a lot of things have wings.
The
penguin has wings.
Yeah. But literally, I do not have a knock for Paul Dano as the Riddler. In fact, when Dark Knight came out, one of the things I read online was I would love for Christopher Nolan specifically to do a Riddler concept to be like a Jigsaw or a Zodiac killer. And at the time, they're like, and I want Leonardo DiCaprio to play it because DiCaprio had been with Christopher Nolan before, and Leonardo DiCaprio can play the fuck out of everything.
Yes.
True.
So it would have been amazing.
Oh yeah. All right.
However, obviously never happened.
That'll
You got
happen.
Tom Hardy as
Yeah.
Bane. Cool. Check my box.
Yeah.
Now you actually get that rogue character and played this way by an unassuming actor. Paul Dano's been around for a long time.
He was in The Girl Next Door.
That's
He
the
was in
one we
Prisoner-
remember from the most.
Prisoners. With
You remember-
Hugh Jackman and what's his name? Jake
I never
Gyllenhaal.
watched it because they're trying to find the two little girls. I was like, I'm out.
Yeah, that movie is insane, and he's almost a little darker and a little more maniacal in that than he is in this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's-
I'm glad I didn't watch that.
yeah, it's very good.
That's what I've heard. But he hit on every note for what the Joker needed to be in that.
Yeah,
Every single note. I don't know if it was all him, if he was just playing the script perfectly. That's another reason I would love to get in some form of the film, acting, TV business, just because I want to see how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
I want to know all the ins and outs on that end. But yeah, he killed it. However, in my opinion, the best person in that entire movie, the best character, the best actor, the person I want more of,
I think I said it.
is Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
Yep, I said it. I said he was the best villain.
Steals the movie.
Yeah. The best part of the movie for me was the first time he showed up on screen. I leaned over to Piper and I go, I can't believe that's Colin Farrell. And she goes, right? What?
I forgot he was doing completely. And then I was just like, right?
Like she was just agreeing
Wait,
with me, and
what?
the turn she goes, what? I was like,
You couldn't-
Yeah.
You couldn't tell.
I haven't seen someone disappear into a character like that since Heath Ledger.
Yeah. Didn't sound like him. Didn't look like him.
No.
Agreed.
Nothing.
And
he was
I-
just a made character.
And that's across all movies.
Yeah.
Like, I don't just mean Batman characters, because
Just all of them.
Mr. Freeze was Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that was fucking awful.
You couldn't tell it was him though.
Not with all that blue paint on.
Yeah.
You super could. But in all movies, I haven't seen someone disappear into a character like that since
Yeah.
Heath Ledger. He was great. I am very excited that they're going to have they are talking about having a Penguin specific series.
Yeah.
You guys didn't watch The Sopranos.
No.
Lucky you. Don't. Fuck. I finally finished it. Sopranos sucks. There, I said it. I don't know why it's number one for everyone. You're dumb. There's a whole bunch of fat guys that are just in their goddamn feelings. Okay? I fucking said it. Anyway, you can play it as a mafioso family drama of
Yeah.
him taking over the Gotham, underworld.
Yeah. Become a crime boss.
But also, why wouldn't you just combine that with the Gotham show?
Yeah.
And
Have him just be the big
one
bad of the show.
constant?
He'd be like the Vincent D'Onofrio of Daredevil.
Yeah.
It'd be Penguin to GCPD.
Yeah,
I think that
exactly.
makes total sense.
Doesn't Gotham already have a penguin?
Well, this is gonna be GCPD is gonna be an HBO version.
Ew. Got it.
It's
Okay.
gonna be like more adult than what Gotham was.
Got it. Well, I mean, they could.
Yeah, they could. It makes sense to do it.
I'm sure they'll have crossover, but instead of
Yeah.
having two separate shows, that's
Yeah.
like having a Daredevil show
And a
and then
Kingpin show.
a Kingpin Wilson Fisk show. I'm like,
Oh,
why
okay.
would you do that? Why don't you put it together?
Yeah, because then otherwise, who's gonna be your good and your bad from the other?
Yeah.
It's gonna be the same.
Exactly.
So
Fair.
So I don't really give a shit about Gotham City Police Department hunting down Victor Zsasz for fucking 8 to 10 episodes. He kills
Yeah.
people. Cool, I get it. Oh shit, never mind. Did you guys watch The Following?
no.
What? You guys never watched The Following on Fox with Kevin Bacon?
No. I haven't even heard of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking
Y'all motherfuckers got homework.
Okay.
Okay.
Jeez.
We're gonna fight. Watch the first season. Watch second season. Man, you can make up your mind on third season. It's okay.
You're really selling this.
First and second season are great. Third season kind of goes off the rails
Falls
a little
off.
bit. But it's a police drama hunting down a serial killer that kind of has a cult around him. And
Okay.
this is going to fall on deaf ears now. But if you take Victor Zsasz as this guy that goes around and just brutally murders a whole bunch of people, and then he tattoos marks on himself for every kill he's got, and he's
Yeah.
like just fucking covered.
Killmonger.
Very similar, yeah, very very similar. Except think Jigsaw meets Killmonger,
Okay.
Interesting.
like just brutally crazy. Yeah, chasing him and something similar to The Following as GCPD could be a good show. It's gonna fall on deaf ears because you guys don't know what I'm referencing. So
Yep.
it was like that thing with the one stuff that you don't know about.
The thing with the stuff and this GCPD show is gonna be like the Batman version of Agents of Shield.
Yeah.
Don't you put that evil on it, Ricky Bobby. I have high
No,
hopes.
no. I liked the.
We
first
liked
couple
Agents of
seasons
Shield.
Did
The
you?
first,
Shield.
the first like 4 seasons, great. And then we started. I think it was the first 4 or 5, but whatever it was. The next season we started, I was like, "Oh, this is crap!" Like one episode in, and we stopped.
You're
Yeah.
like, well, this isn't
It
it.
I
got
don't remember
bad
what season
quick.
it was, but it was like the very first episode of that season. We were like, nope, and we
Yeah.
stopped watching.
Yeah, that was.
But everything up to that was
It was like
great.
they got a different director, and they went a completely different direction. And I'm like,
Did you guys watch Community?
bits and pieces. I haven't watched it all the way through.
First 4 seasons before.
Yeah, you told me this.
Everyone got canceled. The guy got fired. Chevy Chase was groping everyone. First 4 seasons were really entertaining. 5th season, they got a new director and writer and a whole bunch of stuff, and nothing made sense. And it was just like hard pass.
Yeah.
So
But going back to Penguin, there was one scene in the movie that I actually got chills. It was kind of disappointing because it was a really good movie, but like in Endgame, I got chills like 6 times. And this, I got chills 1 time, and it was the car chase scene, which was badass. But I got
which
chills.
was so gritty and basic, and it's pouring down rain. You got this dude in a
Yes.
fucking Maserati or Aston Martin running from this maybe
Souped up.
the
I was gonna ask,
better.
do we
It's the
want to
best.
rank Batmobiles
Oh, it's the best
between like the '90s with the slider top,
that's
the tumbler,
hard.
Nah, it's
and
not
this
hard.
new Batmobile? We basically have 3, unless you want to throw in like the 1966 one,
No.
which that's 4.
It's last.
Yeah, that's last. But then you have the sliding top, which is nostalgia. You have the tumbler, rambler, whatever you want to call it.
I think sliding top hits home for me more.
Yeah, it's right there.
It's right there. I did the Lego of it. I think it hits home for me more because that
It was your childhood.
that was my Batman.
Yeah.
And even they didn't copy the exact design, but they even had a sliding top for Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
It was they did the cartoon quote unquote version of that. So I think in order, it is 89 sliding top, which was nothing more than a Chevy Cavalier with a fiberglass frame on it.
Yeah.
I think you watched that video
Yeah.
with me. Number 2 would be the Battinson Hot Rod. Number 3 would be the Tumbler, because all it is just a big tank with wheels.
Yeah.
That you painted black. And then again, 4 would be the 66 convertible.
Yeah. So I have the same list as you, except I think I swap 1 and 2. I think I like the Battinson because the
It's
one
very good. 89 only wins out of nostalgia purposes.
yes. The
The
thing that
Battinson
I-
Hot
Number
Rod
2
is
for me.
great.
the thing I love so much about this movie is it was almost like, okay, is this actually a real guy? Because he's got a car, not a Batmobile. He has a car Batmobile.
Mm-hmm.
He has a motorcycle, not a Bat motorcycle. He has a motorcycle.
He doesn't have a bat cycle.
Like
Yeah.
all of his stuff is like, besides like I'm gonna show the contact lens. Like Elon Musk probably made it yesterday. We don't know about it yet.
Yeah.
Like all these things are almost like realistic. So it's like
Yeah, that was
that could be a guy.
literally every aspect that you want to pull something out of
Yeah.
on this movie. You're like, hey, you saw this thing here with this thing here and this thing here. There is actually a direct tie to where Matt Reeves pulled it from in the comics. I think
Yeah.
that particular Batman was, we watched it earlier, what was it, Year 100? Where it was a DIY do-it-yourself Batman. And him being in year 2 and the probably second act of Batman Begins, you saw the DIY stuff. This one is a year 2, so he actually has a suit now and a couple of gadgets, like you said, but not all the gadgets. He has a couple of them, but still a very, basic Batmobile. It's a motorcycle. You didn't see anything special about that.
Yeah.
You saw the jet engine, and even cooler, you saw all the jet engine parts on the ground where you saw
so cool.
the shit doesn't just work. He has to build it. He has to maintenance it. It's all in there.
And the best part about it was he turned it on. It's like gearing up, and it's like,
oh man, it's
this is badass.
Like,
the tension,
and then then it stalls.
And it's
yeah. And then just all like revamps up again. He goes
again.
That was
to
badass.
That point. We were talking about this earlier. It made it. He's not just perfect Batman. Everything doesn't work out for him just perfectly every single time, right? So he has the wingsuit. He has a wingsuit. It's not just his cape, which he can just magically fly with.
I liked that fact. Actually,
so did I.
That was so much more grounded than anything else we had seen. Especially when he got to it,
and he pulled the.
Well, even before that, when he got to it, and he's like,
"Fuck!"
Yeah, he was terrified.
He's like, "Oh fuck, this is high."
He's like, "I don't want to do this."
Yeah, I liked how it was really cool. He just like pulled 2 things on it, and then the wingsuit just like
kind of pulled out. Yeah,
and but also I like the other part where he pulls the parachute. And then he fucking hits
face
the
plants into the
and
bridge.
Face plants, and he's not perfect. And I liked.
He still hasn't figured. And I even called it out. You know how we talked about how Tom Holland in his Spider-Man series, he hasn't been Spider-Man yet. He's been learning how to be Spider-Man this whole time. This is the beginning of Batman. He's still kind of figuring out how to be Batman. And again, he's only been doing it for 2 years.
And the second act of, I'm going to keep referencing Batman Begins here because it's a little more earlier in the process, but it's kind of the same reference of you see Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne as Batman running around with a ski mask on, and he goes and jumps out the window and jumps on the fire escape and then falls and then hits like every rung down a ladder and then ends up in a fucking dumpster and in an alleyway. Yeah. So you get that, oh fuck, I don't have this tied up yet.
Yeah.
Which makes me excited for the possible sequels of
him being a little bit more into his element as Batman.
Well, not only that, is how do you do that and keep the tone of this movie that honestly was the selling point? You had good actors, you had a good storyline. Is this movie better with a Christopher Nolan cinematography, or does it lose what it is? That's the question.
Yeah.
And the big argument right now is this as good or better than the benchmark of The Dark Knight? The Dark Knight has always been the benchmark. Yeah. But my argument for The Dark Knight has always been The Dark Knight was not a good movie. Heath Ledger's Joker was an incredible character.
Heath Ledger's Joker carried the movie.
If you take Heath Ledger's Joker out of that movie, The Dark Knight is very, very low on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you replace any individual character villain in this movie can still play.
Yeah. It still holds up.
It still holds its own as its own thing. Dark Knight does not hold water without the Joker.
Yeah.
This movie, you could take out the Riddler and run the whole thing through Penguin in a weird,
more of a
fucked up
crime
way.
mob type
storyline. The movie itself still plays.
Yeah.
Does that make it a better movie than The Dark Knight?
For me,
do we want to rank that now, or do we want to finish and then rank?
Finish, and then we'll
figure out where it goes in the ranking,
where it fits in with the rest of the movies.
Okay, but yeah, so the car scene, the car chase scene when he's flying his car over through the fire.
Oh, yeah, he's like, I got you.
Yeah, I think you get the Batman theme song again,
and then you got the bomb.
Yeah.
When this is over, I'm gonna play you both theme songs and be like, I told you.
Who we got next?
Actually, who we got next is the mistake that you guys had. You had the Joker at the end in Arkham.
No, it's Two-Face.
It's the Joker.
It's Two-Face.
It's Joker.
Are you sure?
Positive. I've watched so much shit on it today. It's the Joker.
Okay.
promise you it's the Joker.
Yeah,
Hence-
I don't know.
Hence why they call it, he dropped things like clown. You will never hear Two-Face do a giggly, cackly laugh like that.
Yeah.
Unless it's Tommy Lee Jones in a fucking Joel Schumacher
And
movie.
so that guy was kind of what I was thinking, Two-Face. Well, because his face looked a little distorted, contorted, and he
His
did
face
have
was extremely distorted on one side, but not the other.
No, you had a couple what looked like scars and markings, but it wasn't a lot because half of it was his hair and you couldn't see him. But if you go through the catalog of different Jokers, there are some you guys watch Gotham.
Yeah. When,
Jerome-
like the face
I know.
over the
Yeah.
face and
Yeah, so there are some fucked up looking Jokers in there that could be any number of things.
yeah.
No, it is Druid being the Joker.
Yeah.
Druid
Which
being-
I am way more excited for his character or for this actor and what he could look like and do as the Joker in a almost perfect noir film for him
Yeah.
than him doing anything ever again as an Eternal ever.
Yeah. Even though he was one of the better Eternals.
Yeah. But yeah, it's
I'm
Joker.
still not sold that it's Joker, though.
Dig in.
Go do your research.
I've watched probably the entire movie's worth of Easter egg breakdowns, film, all this on every different YouTube channel that exists. It is... Yeah, no, he's the Joker. He is not Two-Face.
All right.
Which I'd much rather see another rendition of the Joker than I would another rendition of Two-Face. Because you already kind of played your political balloon.
And Matt Reeves has openly said that he would love to try and spin a grounded Mr. Freeze. So honestly, what I would like to see is you start the second movie with Riddler and Joker like teaming up to do something, and then Joker just straight murders him. Suicide Squad in the first 10 minute style of like
Just
yeah,
back
just
to the
something
head.
happens and he just and moves on. And it's Penguin, Joker, and you somehow bring in Mr. Freeze as doing something.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm kind of excited to see where this Batman goes now because of how good this movie was.
And again, do you change your cinematography to mirror the growth of Gotham, mirror the growth of Bruce Wayne, mirror the growth of Batman? Because the end of the movie, Gotham gets flooded.
Yeah.
Well, floods and fire generally represent like cleansing of things and rebirth.
Yeah, starting over.
Yeah. So you have this, and he says, vengeance doesn't work. I got to be this. I got to run it a different way. I can't be that guy because the 4chan cult of Riddler, QAnon cult of Riddler, that attacked everyone at the very end.
Yeah, that was a twist I did not
Reference,
see
who
coming.
are you guys? We're vengeance. Well, the reason they said that is because
That's
the
what Batman
Riddler
was saying.
thinks,
He's with Batman.
He's
and
with Batman.
Batman is vengeance.
which I love that fact of, you're on the Jeffrey Wright side. Jeffrey Wright's your straight guy. You're on the Batman side, is your experience everything happening through their eyes of why is this shit happening? How do we stop it? And he even said, we play the Riddler's game for now, and then we get to him and see if it leads us to him.
Mm-hmm.
Which is exactly what he wanted because he thought they were together anyway. He's like, I don't even have to tell this guy. This guy knows me. I know him. And then he's like, wait a minute. You were right. You were right there, and you didn't see it. You're not as smart as I thought you were. You don't get it.
Yeah.
You don't get what this is. And then that's when he tells him, you're nothing. You're nobody.
Yeah.
All your shit. Everything's bullshit.
Yeah.
So. Which is why the Riddler was so distraught whenever he was seeing the TV. Batman
Yeah.
saves hundreds
Batman
of people.
saved them all.
He's like, no, this is not what was supposed to happen at all.
Yeah.
He's like, you were supposed to be on my side.
And that's when the Joker is like, why are you so upset? Don't be sad. You did good.
Yeah.
Gotham loves a comeback story.
Part 2.
Yes. So. Oh, also, did you stay to the end of the credits?
Yeah.
And you saw the
Goodbye.
goodbye?
Yeah.
And then did you see the link to the...
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
And did you look up what that was?
Yes.
Yes. Went to
And
the
what it
web-
led to?
Yes.
Okay.
So, if you actually open up or actually like go to the website and like look at all the links that pop up, they're all links that they time out, but they're all a direct correlation to the first appearance of each of the main characters.
That too, and if you keep going, and it's riddles. And if you answer the riddle correctly, you get another riddle and a link. And then
That I didn't get. It just
the Rata Alata website. So you go there, and it asks you a riddle.
When you go, it doesn't ask you anything.
Again, it's constantly changing because originally it was giving you riddles.
It might have been before the release of the movie.
Yeah, so now it gives you all these. It gives you links, right?
Yeah, so the links, and once you get down to the bottom of it,
right,
or it might have changed since, it's giving you riddles, and you answer them correctly, and it gives you links. And then once you get to a certain link, it gives you a link to another one, and then you answer a question over here, and basically
it's changed.
Yeah.
Because now what happens is the percentage went up. So when I was looking at it earlier, so it brings you to this page now. Like, it goes through all those, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't do the riddles anymore at all, right? It goes, click for reward. You click it, and it gives you this picture, right? Which is a whole big cipher thing, right?
Yeah.
From the movie, right?
I
The
believe
name
it
of the
stands for
JPEG
Maze of Riddles, is what they were talking about earlier.
Probably. The name of the JPEG is called It's Not Over Yet, right? If you look, it's definitely in code. It's the same code from there. And I'm wondering, like, once the movie comes out,
If you can pause it on Alfred's
and try and figure
algorithm.
it out, right?
Well,
but
actually, I saw it earlier, and he actually had symbol for letter. The page you had literally writes out to Maze of Riddles, but also it gave you what the symbol for Z was, and you had 25 of the 26 letters for the alphabet. The only letter you didn't have was J.
For Joker.
So you have that, and then it ultimately leads up to a link that you, before the movie came out, you got the smear campaign of Thomas Wayne that he put out, and he showed you in that one.
Gotcha.
So yeah, everything we saw earlier was vastly different than what you have right there.
yeah, so this
with
was
the
to
exception
come
of the
out
Maze of Riddles.
after, because so it's been a couple hours, and it's loading, right? There's just a loading, and it's got a percentage, and it doesn't change, except for that loading percentage changed 2%. It was at 15 when I looked at it earlier. It's now at 17, which is interesting, which means it's
Going to something.
it's going to something. So once it hits 100, I wonder what happens next. So I kind of want to keep up with it. So like,
Do it. Let us
Set a
know next
reminder
week.
for every couple days to
Yeah.
check it.
check. Yeah, well, I mean, because it's been about what, 2-3 hours, and it's gone up 2%.
Yeah. So check it tomorrow. See where it's at.
Yeah.
Out of
That's
all the Batman movies, is this the best one ever?
Yes.
That is the popular opinion right now.
To me, it's right here with the Dark Knight.
Dark Knight is the benchmark.
I feel like
But as I said,
For
Dark
your-
Knight is not a good movie.
no.
For your point alone, that is why mine is higher.
Heath Ledger's Joker is a good character.
Yes.
This movie is not stemmed solely